Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you for being with me again today. I am very certain that you are all familiar with that party who was in charge of Germany uh, between 1933 and 1945, right? And I'm familiar that you all know, and you probably saw pictures and maybe videos about how bad those guys were, and to come to today's subject, how they were burning books. They were against knowledge. They were against, um uh, unaccepted books, things that that party deemed as unacceptable. So then they burned, remember those bonfires with people throwing books and so on. Well, if you saw that, and I'm pretty sure you did, or at least you heard about it, I don't know how many of you know what kind of books were burned. Well, I know some people say, oh, there are probably some, democratic and, smart books and so on. Well, if you dig a little bit deeper, like an inch underneath all this reality that was provided to us, you find out that there were some certain books. Please go and do the research. I can't say it here, and see what kind of books there were. Among others, I will mention pornographic books and communist books. Those were the main ones. And then you do your research. I can't say more. Now we go further here, and this go to the today's article, and we have. Let me put it this way: any culture, any society that destroys literature, good or bad, or books, good or bad, that's not an acceptable thing, and I'll tell you why. Because you prevent people to see the other side, good or bad, and you prevent people to make their own mind. And who's the ones that prevent you? Some people in control who determined that that's good and that's bad, and you should be regimented into that. I'm not saying that you should. I mean, first, I'm for individual freedom. If I want to believe that there's no moon in the sky, I shouldn't be arrested or, be repercussions at work or in the society for that belief. But that should be proven through facts and dialogue, debate as wrong. And you okay, let's talk about it. And you bring the evidence and you win the conversation because the evidence is clear. So I should be allowed to read whatever naughty book I would like to read and make my own opinion. That's my right as a free human being. I don't want the government or anybody else to tell me what I can and what I can't read. And they will prevent me from reading certain books because they're going to ban them. Like the communists banned certain books where I come from. When I was a kid, there were certain books that you couldn't read, you couldn't find. They were not printed. Nobody would print those books because we're not supposed to read those books. The Germans did the same thing. The Germans, I'm talking about that kind of party, remember, that I mentioned at the beginning. Now the Ukrainians are doing the same thing, but they use the same terminology that the Germans in those times used, the communists in my time and in other times used. That means the euphemisms. They use something nice to make it look like we're going to protect you. We're going to cleanse the society, the intelligentsia, so you cannot be somehow influenced by those stupid stuff. Well, if there's stupid stuff, you're going to be having the power through truth and debate, right? To say, okay, let's discuss. And if you can't convince me, maybe I'm not that stupid. Maybe your arguments are stupid. Maybe what you support is wrong and you just say they're right. But no, we can't because we're not allowed to look into that. Let me make my own opinion, my own mind. So what I'm talking about here, it's an article from Republic World from May 6th overseas, May 5th here in the United States, and it says Ukraine's culture ministry to remove Russian, and this is euphemisms, the terms, Russian propaganda literature from Ukrainian libraries. Well, if you do that, that means that you could deem Russian being an offensive and a terrorist language. And people would agree with that. Because if they agree with the first step, there's no second one. If you go to the language, then you can say whoever speaks Russian in public should be reprimanded. And then from that, okay, whoever is Russian should be, I don't know. So once you open this little door, who are the controllers? Who are the dictators of what is acceptable and what's not? You say the society? It's not a society. It's not a society. It's the mass media. It's the schools. It's the entertainment industry. These are the ones that form the society. And it's not you and I. We look tomorrow. Tomorrow, if the mass media shows you that an idea is acceptable and another one is not acceptable, through repetition and this kind of euphemisms, people will just get it, and the schools will put it in the curriculum, and they'll teach kids, and the kids will grow with that authority figure, the teacher, coming from the school. Do not oppose the teacher, because the teacher knows everything, right? And then there you have it. Like the Hitler Youth, right? You can't change their mind much because they were indoctrinated with, who indoctrinated that? The government. So here they try to, who's going to pick that? Who's going to determine what's propaganda and what's not? Like here in the United States, now they try to do something with disinformation, misinformation department of DHS or something. Is like, really? Who and who are those who determine that? For me, free human being, right? I'm free to listen to them. So I don't know if I have to go deeper here, but it's just that the policy, the Ukrainian Ministry of Culture and Information Policy has announced that they are working on removing Russian propaganda literature from Ukrainian libraries. The Ukrainian Culture Ministry further said that they will replace them with Ukrainian language literature. If you do that here, let's say in the United States, and say, you know what, we're going to remove, let's say, the Indian Americans literature because it has some propaganda. We're going to bring the Romanian literature here. How is that going to be? How is that going to be? And look, and books that have been published by Ukrainian publishers. So everything Ukrainian publishers, Ukrainian language literature. What does that look like? What does that look like? Oh, you don't know? Okay, well, maybe you're going to figure it out later when it goes to number 2, number 3, number 4 stages. So nevertheless, they say here that Larissa, we have a listener, Larissa Petasiuk, Deputy Minister of Culture, Information and Policy of Ukraine. Yeah, Larissa. Yeah, great, Larissa. Has called propaganda a dangerous weapon and ended. Yes, it is a dangerous weapon. Depends who has it. If the government has it, that's not dangerous. If someone else has it, it's dangerous. Russians liars are poisons all around today. The literature? Who wrote your literature in your Ukrainian, in your state? You've been free for what? 30 years? Who wrote that? The Soviets? What, are you going to ban Tolstoy? Or are you going to ban Solzhenitsyn? Because they said certain things that are really not very nice, at certain groups. Is that what it is? Nevertheless, they started. Propaganda is a dangerous weapon. Yes, it is. At present, the ministry has defined clear criteria by which Russian literature will be removed from Ukrainian library funds. We approach this issue carefully and carefully. We hope that all of this will positively affect the development of Ukrainian bookstore, Larissa said in a statement released on Facebook. Now you tell me what that is. If you agree with that, then you don't tell me about the guys in the Second World War, that party that I mentioned, or the communists. Don't tell me about those guys being, as Don't tell me that. Do not ban anything. Do not ban those things. Now you can limit, for instance, I'm not saying, oh my God, the children should watch pornography or some. No, they should not be exposed because a child is a child. His mind is still developing. I'm talking a person who is like over 18, 19, 20, free person. Free person. I'm not saying the government should not have certain control over certain things, but this is control over my mind, my information, how I form myself, how I choose what I choose to read. You know, propaganda can be made with a lot of those soft porn novels nowadays. It's very easy to put some subliminal messages over there. Who would know? They're dealing with this, and then on the other hand, is subliminal, another subject. It's just for entertainment. Anyway, you don't have to call, there's the Russians over there, there's the bad guys, there's the good guys. Be more subtle, like Hollywood does. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just, and don't ban these kind of things. Thank you.